Hello, hello, hello. How's it going there, Zachy? So, started doing a little testing here. If you remember last time, we kind of ran into some problems with the oil drilling setup here. It was making it so I couldn't get it back from the workbench. So I think what's happening is when they came out with the major, they changed the way the subgrids work. I think it counts it as separate vehicles now. And so if I put this one on there, it says remove vehicle from work zone. So workbench not available, remove vehicle from work zone. So what I did was I went in here and I started deleting some stuff, and I ended up getting it where it would let me recall it. So what I want to do is we really need to kind of get working on drilling here. So it could be too many subgrids are causing it to think there's more than one vehicle in the area here. So I need to work on some stuff and see if I can't get this to be workable. And so that was it right there. So I found this out, just did some testing really quickly. It's that one little pivot there was causing the problem, and that's actually something that I don't even need. And so it deleting that works. So I'm going to save this up. There's an airplane here that I've been working on. I just worked on the shell of this airplane, so this is going to be our airplane for this series. I just kind of fleshed out the fuselage of that, but we're going to be using this oil rig here, and I'll go ahead and spawn it because we do need to build. So okay, so that works. We're going to go ahead, and this is a creative game I'm in here, so we're just gonna, that's saved up, so we're going to go ahead and save this creative game, and then I'm going to go load up the live career build series save, and we'll get working on that. So that's very important for us. We have an oil rig close to our base. With this seed that I like using, the refinery island is quite far away, and so that would be a major detour for me, and I have to start working on a tanker or use a tanker that I already have, and then that's a long, drawn-out, boring process of going out there, so I don't want to deal with that. So what I'm going to actually do here is, this one's going to make it so I can't get this out of here. So what I'm going to do is recall it, and then I'm going to give myself the money back. So go ahead to the map, and I need to select map vehicles, and I'm going to click on that one, take that back to the workbench. Let's see. It's not going to let me take that back to the workbench, is it? Okay, that's fine. I can get rid of it, and then I'll fix my save. So I need to go back in the custom menu, allow vehicle cleanup. Again, there's a good reason why why it's important to have that. Why it's important to have the custom menu on. It allows you to do some of the stuff. So let's look at our money. I was around 56,000, so right there, 14,722. So I'm going to save this. Save it to the other save, back up. All right, and we'll go ahead, and I'm going to go in, and I'm going to edit my XML, because, again, that was a game problem. That was not really my problem. And so I should not be punished for a game problem. And that's part of, like, people getting frustrated with this stuff. It's like, put on creative menu. Go ahead, edit the XML. You know, at the end of the day, the point of the game is to have fun. And if something that's happening in the game is not fun, you need to, you should be doing the things required to make it fun again. All right, so here's my save file. Click on scene. If you've never done this before, come in here. If you notice, my currency is 14,722. It should be 56,000 was where I was before I lost that. And again, it was a game problem with the new subgrids, and so because of that, you know, I had to delete it. When you clean up a vehicle, you do not get the money back, you do not get the fuel back, and so I am just deleting this. I deleted it out, so I lost all that money, but you know, that's not really my fault, so I'm giving it back. So we'll go ahead and we'll save that. All right, that's fixed. Let me just quickly put up the video announcement on the Discord. That's where a lot of people see it, so put that up. All right, good. So we should be ready to rock and roll here. So I tested the new rig. I stripped out a bunch of the new rig. So we're going to take a look at the new rig. We need to reload this save. Right there. How's it going there, Citrus? I just put it up. Yep. Yep. A little bit slow on there. So, for the citrus who has just arrived, yeah. So, figured out the issue. It was one little thing that caused that, so that I could not recall the drill, and so that made it difficult. So now, again, look at that magic. All right, we lost a bunch of cash. Frustration. Nope. It literally took me less than a minute to edit the XML file. No more frustration. That was not my fault that we had issues with that. So now if I take this drilling platform, which I just made, and so if we look at it here, there was one little thing here. It was a pivot with a winch on it, and that was causing all the problems that I couldn't recall this. So that is now fixed. I'm trying to see if I can further simplify this. I won't bother right now. We'll kind of leave it as it is. Let's spawn it in. And now, as you can see, I can recall it now. So before I couldn't recall it, that was a problem. Now I can. So it was just it was something, it had to do with the subgrids. That's one of the only things that really changed there. And so because of the subgrid issue, I think it thought there were too many vehicles in the area. And so by fixing that one couple blocks, it fixed it. So just some trial and error to figure out which one it was. It wasn't a big deal. Oh, I didn't turn on the thing. There we go. So, you know, sometimes it's something simple like that, and, you know, it's a little bit of trial and error, figured it out. See, we have the table clamp on, slurry. Okay, so that is going down. That's good. Flow rate I don't have connected right now, so I can manually read the slurries. All right, so I think we're good there at the. So what we'll do is we will. All right, so we'll drill this hole. Now that we can actually make this work, so. I still think it was a game issue, you know, because this did work before. It's not the biggest of game issues, but this system did work before, and now it's not working because of the subgrids. So, not the end of the world, but did figure it out. So, luckily figured it out. I'll have to update my bug tracker report to say that it, you know, I deleted a couple blocks and now it works. So I don't know what the deal was with it. Why is that? Are we not hitting oil here? What's the story? Drill depth 12. Okay, I already drilled this well. That's why. So we're already at 33. So that's why the next pipe went all the way down. Was it? I'd already pre-drilled that, so that's good. All right, let's go ahead. We'll get the next section in here. So we should have 3 pipes, and then we can start drilling again. I was wondering why it was acting low. It wasn't drilling. It's because we're already ahead. And that will come down. That's just a, that's a phantom physics thing. It's the linear track's kind of getting stuck, but it does fix itself after a while, so I just let it kind of sit. This could use an upgrade, this drilling platform. My pumping platform works really well, so did a little bit of, got rid of some of the extra, see it finally came down. Alright, good. Let's go. There we go. And so this should be drilling now. That's 30 meters in with that last pipe section, and we were at 33. So this should start to drill now. There we go. Yeah, so I started building an airplane, and the plane was going to try to land at the refinery island. That's going to be a mess to try to do that. So, how deep are we here in this hole? Let's go check it out here. Okay, we're just coming up on 33 there. All right. So let's, we should be good for Another pipe segment here. Yeah, so this is nice and convenient close. Like, they did not put a... I think they should put a regular diesel pump that we can buy diesel here. You know, for those who don't want to drill or whatnot. But, you know, this is very close to our base, so we should be able to drill our own diesel supply. And then we go from, like, being very much... you know, very much like stressing out about getting enough fuel. How am I going to get fuel? Oh my god, I got to build a tanker and I got to go halfway across the map to go get fuel, to now it's like, oh, I need a little bit of fuel. Okay, I'll drive the quarter of a mile over to my drilling platform. I'll suck out as much diesel as I need. I'll put it in my tanks. How's it going there, big man? Yep, it's nice to do some career. It puts some pressures on you. It makes you play a little bit differently, which is nice. Yep. Well, that's the thing, is it's like, you know, Big Man's talking about, you know, it's, you need to have the self-control not to cheat too much with a career game. And it was like that situation there is, you know, I think a couple of you guys missed it, but there was one part on this drill that caused it so I couldn't recall it into the workbench, and that was part of the new subgrid system. And so when they did the new subgrid system, essentially, if I'm correct, you know, I have no inside information on this, but my understanding of how the system works is essentially makes different parts of your craft their own vehicle. And so there's a part of the game where if you have too many vehicles in the work zone, in the area, in the spawn zone, it won't allow you to recall them. So normally it's fine. You have 3 trucks sitting in your spawn area. You drive one of the trucks out, now you can recall it. And so that's kind of what I think was happening. And it was thinking one of the parts was a separate vehicle, and so I deleted that part just through trial and error, like I deleted all this. Everything that was a subgrid, I went in. The red parts are all the main body. I deleted subgrid by subgrid methodically, and I finally found the part that was causing the issue. And once I got rid of that part, it allows me now to despawn this, because for those who haven't watched the other career build series, the way this works is this now is just a drilling platform. So it has the drill, it has the slurry tanks. If I need more rods or I need more slurry tanks, what I do is despawn this drill, respawn it, and then continue. And then once this is done, the pipe stays in the hole. I despawn this, and then I put in a pumping station, because that's how they do in real life. They don't leave the derrick up. The derrick is just for drilling. You know, they don't need all those parts anymore, so it'd be a waste to just have them sitting there at the site. They detach all that stuff, and they move it off to another area that needs to be drilled, and then they put on a pumping system. And so, you know, kind of the jack-of-all-trade, master-of-none method I'm trying to get away from, or I don't do much. I try to do, you know, very specialized equipment, so the pumping station is very, very fast, and it's very efficient at refining, you know, the fuels and giving me a regular supply. And this specializes at just drilling. So instead of having it where I have all these extra components, plus that's a lot of cost in the world for no reason. Like this drilling platform right here is reasonably cheap. It's 28 grand. But if I also had all the pumping equipment on here, like say this costs 50, well that's 28 grand sitting in the world that I don't need sitting there. And so that can come back, and that can be resources in my bank again. And then I can just have the pumping station out here. So that's kind of why I'm doing that. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to tell me it's pumping. So we'll see when we hit oil. I'm not sure. I've never drilled this hole before. I've only ever drilled the one by FJ, so. Down to 46. Will it tell me here? Is anchored now. Okay. So we'll keep drilling here, and this is going to be convenient. If we look at the map, we have the oil deposit here, and we're right here. So this is a nice short drive. There's also railroad tracks, which is fun. We could theoretically do a train. It can't go all the way up here, but it can go from back here, and then eventually, you know, if we need to move it through the rail system, we can. But this is the road connection here. We can drive, we can go get some oil, and we can dump it in this base. Because the other thought was I had a bunch of things I wanted to do, but, you know, I wanted to get in some mining. I've started building an airplane. I wanted to, you know, just a fuselage I wanted to build in here. And the issue was that we're going to run out of fuel, and so we could go over here and get a piddly little amount, come back and back and back and back until this is empty. And so the better thing to, and then the other option was to grab a tanker, and I'd probably have to do this off screen because, like, if it was a regular episode of Career Build Series, I do a time lapse in the tanker because it might take me 30 minutes to get out there, fill up, 30 minutes back, empty it, so it's a big time investment. This is kind of convenient, as I can make a little trailer for the IFA, come over here, get like, say, 5,000 liters, come back, dump it in the bench. Bingo, we have fuel, we can go do whatever we want. Oh, we need some more fuel, come back. So I am going to have to work on that pumping station with the new mechanics, but I can't imagine it's going to be all that challenging, so I should be able to get that to work fine. Oh, there's messages there. Let's see. All right, drilling nicely here. Let's see where we're at here. Slurry is good. We have about 30 more meters of rods here. I don't know when this is going to hit. So if I turn on the pump jack, it won't tell me where it's going because it, I no longer have a tank. But it will do the new animation now when it hits oil, so that should tell me it hit oil. Yeah, but like Big Man's talking about, you have to have a little self-control and not going in here and just doing everything and, like, make sure no clips off and not abuse it, or, like, if you get lost. But it is a good frustration management system. Like, if you accidentally glitch in your boat, if you, like, what happened here is, it was a game issue. I would have lost, like, $36,000, which is ridiculous, especially early on, for a little bit of an issue with the game. So what did I do? I went in here, I clicked on allow vehicle cleanup, map vehicles, I recalled the vehicle, which means it gets deleted, you don't get your money back, and I went into the XML and I gave myself the money back, because it was my money. It wasn't my fault that happened, that was a game problem, and so therefore I'm not frustrated, and it's one of those things that, it's a single-player game. It's not cheating if it's a single-player game. And it's like, at the end of the day, you're supposed to be having fun here. And especially, like, you see some of the people who get really pissed off about the game, having glitches and stuff. It's like a lot of this can be solved by you just, if you need to, turn on that menu, fix the issue that's bothering you, and then move on with your day, and you can go back to enjoying it, Let's see where we're at here. How's it going there? Ow. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Alright, so it's drilling pretty quickly here. I put the electric motor on. I had a diesel on there just for funsies, but this is faster, and we'll just run this. You don't do too much drilling here. So. One thing that would be kind of cool in Not Stormworks 2 is, like, if I went over to our base and I was in the workbench, this would stop doing anything. It kind of freezes the world outside, and so that that makes it kind of tough if I wanted to let this run while I was doing other things. So I kind of have to just sit here and monitor it, which isn't the worst thing. All right, so we have 2 more rods left, 2 more pipes, and then we'll see if we hit. If we don't hit, I'll despawn this, respawn it. I don't clean my slurry anymore. I just respawn the base. It's not the biggest thing. It's just like drilling. Drilling isn't that engaging of a process, and it's not that involved. And once you're done drilling, you just pump. So it's don't really feel the need to do all that. There it is. All right, good. We're done. All right, let's go. Yay, we've struck. Let's get a pick. That was pretty reasonable. That wasn't too deep. Let me try to get a epic screenshot here. There we go. All right. So there is the oil spilling down. All right, so we need to drill down a little bit. So we're going to drill this all the way down to the nubbin. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this save. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to copy the save, and I'm going to turn on infinite money to test. Because I have not tested my new pumping system. I have not tested the old pumping system. I know it's going to need some relief valves, so I'm going to replumb that up so it has relief valves and make sure it's working. So nice. So we struck oil at, it was like 40 something, I think. I just checked it. Maybe it's a little deeper. No, 60. Yeah, so 60. We hit around 60. Okay. 50 something, 60. That's where the other hole was striking. Some of them are, I think, are like 300. I can't put this pipe away. Hopefully it doesn't just sit here. All right, so we want to make sure this one goes all the way down. It is. All right, good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this save because I inevitably screw this up. All right, so this save is saved. We're going to go ahead. We're going to stop the table. We're going to shut off the slurry pumps. All right, we want to do swivel clamp off, swivel downs off. That clamp can stay on. That's fine. Table clamp's coming off. That will sit in the hole. All right, I'm going to test, make sure I don't screw this up. Now we can recall this. Okay, we're going to grab the pumping station. All right, so this is my pumping rig. I actually put these bleeds on here before, so these are bleed vents here, as you can see. And so what I'm going to do is I don't need these like this anymore. What I can do is that's going to go. That's a pump out. Here's all my venting. So I used to already vent these tanks. Pre-pressurization, and now I'm going to revent and make sure all this works. So these tanks are motors. I don't need the motors anymore. Those can go. That can be cut there. All right. That's an inflow. Those are old. So a lot of this I pre-vented just to make sure that it was running fine with the other systems. So I want to check all this, make sure this is going to run fine. You all set? Okay, good. All right, so that was all my venting stuff. This should be a fluid port. All right. This is my fractioning tower. One thing you want to keep in mind when you're making a fractioning tower is you're trying to heat up a liquid, right? The liquid does not want to heat. The liquid wants to stay at its current temperature. So the more liquid you have, the longer it's going to take to heat. So the smaller the volume of liquid you have in here, the quicker it's going to heat, the more readily it's going to maintain its heat. You keep pouring cold oil in there, and it's going to drop your temp. And so what I do is I have an initial heater, and then I have a recirculator heater here. So it comes out of the oil tanks, it initially heats it, it goes in, and then it recirculates it. So this pumps the oil through and circulates. All right, so we're going to try to see how much venting we need here. So we need a gas port, gas relief valve. Let's go this color here. Gas relief valve goes here. And then I want, we're going to put that there. Fluid ports here. So it's been pretty, it's pretty realistic how this stuff has to be done, so I don't find it all that challenging. We'll see if it beguiles me this time, but getting these pumped out. Because, you know, think of it this way. As you pour oil in here, the air has to go somewhere. You're going to eventually, as the oil goes up, the air compresses and compresses and compresses. And finally, the force of the air inside of here is overcoming the strength of the pump, and you can't pump anymore. And so that's why you need these relief valves. So what happens is as the oil comes in, the air gets pushed out of the top. And then as the oil drains, it draws the air in. And that way, it, you know, it makes sure that you don't get your systems clogged up. So we'll do some gas relief valves here. Relief valve, relief valve, relief valve. So I had already had these on here, essentially, and now it's, I'm just redoing them so they're up to date with the current system. Actually, I dig the way these look better now, anyway. Yeah, so this whole setup specializes in pumping. Instead of having and wasting a bunch of money on having all the drill parts, those drill parts get put away. Alright, so I'm hoping that relief valve is fine. What did I want to... There was something I wanted to do here. I can't remember. I have oil pull, I have diesel pull, I have jet pull. Let's see. Allow liquids. So these are the old systems here. I wonder if I need to burp the lines. Might need to burp the lines. I'm not sure. I'm wondering if the tanker I build, if it has an air purge, if it will be fine. So we'll run a test on this anyways. But I'm going to see if... Hopefully this is going to run all right. We will see, though. Alright, so let's save this. Let's do oil, pump, jack, and I'll just date it. Alright, so that is saved. So, like, if we look at the price of this costs $42,000. It's expensive, but the benefit of this is that it, that is pretty damn expensive. But the benefit of this is this would be even more expensive if I had all the drilling equipment. By getting rid of all that crap, I only have what I need here. And so that's helpful. So let's go ahead and we'll spawn this. Let's actually do this really quick. This saved? That's saved. Okay. So what I'm going to do really quick is I want to save the world to update it. So to see the rod's still sitting in the hole and it's sitting at the correct height. So we'll make sure we save this world. I'll actually save it to the backup. Alright. And then we should be able to put that on top. So let's spawn it. Bingo, it's on. Make sure it lets me get rid of it if I need to. It does. Beautiful. So that was one, like, it was a couple blocks that caused that problem the other day. All right, so we want to attach that. And there we go. And there is, so I have a tutorial on that, how to get the fast pump jack. But essentially turn in circular motion into vertical motion. Big man probably learned all about cool mechanisms for that. I really like the mechanical engineering stuff of... like transferring from one direction to the other. But this is a very fast pump jack, so... Alright, oil is streaming in, fine. Oil is streaming in, fine. Beautiful. So that should... So let's actually no-clip up. No-clip, no-clip. Where is you? Where are you? There you are. Okay. Let's get up here. And I want to see what if we're pushing air out. So if you look here, we are pushing air out. So it makes sense, right? You're pumping oil in, well, that air has to go somewhere. It either pressurizes, it compresses, or it goes somewhere. And in this case, we want it to go somewhere. We want it to blow out the top. All right, so this is the system here. We have the cycle heater. That's the cycle heater. This is the diesel jet. So this is pushing these off. I used to have an air purge. That was an active air purge. The pumps pulled the air out of it. So what's going to happen here is that's the pump, okay. And this is the furnace. So this is putting the oil in here, and it's starting to heat it. And then what we want to do is turn on the cycle heater. The cycle heater's up here, so that's going to pull oil through here, and it's gonna recirculate and do recirculation heating. So this is a preheater, and that's a recirculator heater. And this was working well before, so we'll see how this works now. That's one of the reasons I was doing save, is to make sure that it, if it's screwed up and I have to go back, this is my career game, so I can go back to the save and not lose any progress. How's it going there, Daniel K? What's happening? Yep. Want to put more oil in the world. Speedster's gone missing. Good lordy. Alright, so I don't care about jet fuel right now. I want to pull off diesel, so we're going to just focus on diesel. It's actually very cool how fraction towers work IRL. I'm glad they went to this system. You know, this is a cool way to do it. So the cool thing with this base is this pumps and just pumps and pumps, and it just is automatic and just does. You know, these two tanks, they'll fill up. This will automatically fill up these other two tanks. And, you know, then when I come to empty these tanks, we already have oil in reserve, so we don't lose any. It's slowly starting to heat. We're going to leave that going. All right, and I'm going to see where this mission is. All right, so we're actually going to, I'm just going to teleport and we'll do it because currently we don't have, I didn't bring a vehicle over. We were doing testing, so If you just noticed that what happened when I teleported, right, all my pumps appeared. So I think that's, you know, I actually saw this morning there was somebody commenting their pumps have disappeared. I think that's what the culprit is, if I were to guess. If you ever notice when you no clip or you teleport, what the game does is it culls certain items. It makes them disappear because, you know, the game can't render the entire world and keep, you know, the game running fine. No game can really do that. You know, you have games where, like, literally, if you're going down a corridor, as you walk down the corridor behind you disappears, and the corridor in front of you starts to appear for the culling, and that's what this seems to do. So if you notice, when I spawned in, those pumps appeared, and I think that's what the issue is it's not the pumps aren't coming in. So if you're having that problem, that could be it. I've literally never had that problem where it's been permanent like that. So I wonder if that is like somebody's machine not keeping up or something. All right, so we don't have a ton of cash left here. We have 13, but that's plenty for our little boat. One of the reasons why, after playing a lot of career, you kind of start to get some, start to get a little wisdom on what to do. And one of it is, like, have some nice cheap stuff. Like, this thing costs $4,300 to spawn. You know, it doesn't matter how low we go. You know, we can go pretty damn low on money before we can't spawn this. So, all right, so we're gonna go out and do this mission, get a little cash. I like every once in a while getting us where we're hurting for cash. It's kind of one of my, you know, it's nice to have a little bit of financial pressure because it motivates you to go do some things. And like, there's a bunch of things I wanted to do, but the motivating factor for me right now is fuel. Is we don't have enough fuel to be doing extravagant things, so it motivated me to go do some fuel work. How's it going there, officer? How are you? Good to see you. Not too much there, Fiat. I figured out the issue. It is still, I would consider, a game problem. Part of my drilling rig, it was causing it so that the game thought there were too many vehicles in the workbench, and it wouldn't let me despawn it. I deleted like a couple blocks, and it fixed it. So we're actually drilling again. That is pumping and refining, hopefully. We'll see if the refining system works. I might have to do some tweaks for the new pressure update, but I think we're good. What is that? Is that it over there? I just passed the sucker. Is it really sitting right over there? It is. It's right over here. Okay. There it is. All right. So that's it over there. We'll go get this rescue done. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah. Yeah, that was, that modular engine tutorial has been kind of in the works or in conceptualization for a little while. That was going to be part of the transmission tutorial, like, you know, Phil was asking, you know, why another one, and it was, the point is, one, like, if I go back and listen to some of my old videos, there's too much pause, and there's not necessarily, it doesn't flow right sometimes, and then the other thing is, even though all my engines still worked after the pressurization update, you know, if somebody sees, oh, this one's a year old, it probably doesn't work with the pressurization update. You know, so even though it does, they might assume that it doesn't. So by making a new one, you know, you see, okay, it's after the pressurization update, it likely works. You know, I make a point in that video to say it works. And then it ties directly in with the transmission tutorial. I'm going to be putting out I actually recorded it the other day, and it came out crap, so I'm going to do another record of it. But it's essentially, it's going to be how to tie the transmission directly into that. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do that, was it was meant to directly tie in with the transmission tutorial. So that series is going to be, you know, you learn how to build a modular engine, and then you go ahead. Did it not give me money? Okay, there it is. You then go, once you've learned how to build a modular engine, you then... Why is this trying to start? It shouldn't be starting if I'm off the... Oh, maybe it's the big boat that's trying to start, because mine shouldn't start when it's... My boat should not try to start when it's when I'm not on the helm. That's one of the conditions, so I wonder if the big boat's trying to start. Let's clear. You know, so that way, so the kind of the thought process with that set of tutorials is it's going to be a playlist. I also wanted to get a playlist so you can, like, go from not knowing anything to, you know, learn how to make a modular engine, learn how to make a transmission, then learn how to connect the modular engine to the transmission, and then build the car from there. And so you can kind of go from not knowing how to build a car to building a car. So that's kind of the whole thought process with that. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, can I pilfer and steal? What do you got? You got any goods in here? No, they don't have crap. I'm going to leave that open so that sucker sinks. See you later. We could take the rope, but not that petty. Alright. So, you know, like, look at how nicely this boat works. Like, this boat is pretty damn simple. It's inherently stable. That's why, like, if you watch the earlier episodes when I built this boat, the whole point was if you can get the boat inherently stable, or your airplane inherently stable, you don't need a bunch of extravagant systems. Like, they're nice to put on some stability systems, but, like, I don't have that weight in there anymore. Like, it doesn't, the boat, like, this boat's tiny, it doesn't roll over. It's, like, little things like that. Yeah, I was reading some Reddit comments on people saying, oh, the stock gyro sucks. Don't use the stock gyro. It's no good. Go in the workshop and take somebody else's gyro and use that. And, you know, I've talked about this a bunch. It's the stock gyro is in every single one of my airplanes and helicopters. I don't use anything else. And it works fine, but you have to make your aircraft inherently stable first because the gyro is not magic. And a lot of games use magic. They just, you know, they cheat to make the boat or the vehicle work. And in this game, you actually have to do it yourself. So, you know, if you can make something inherently stable, the stability systems have to do very little. Cannot edit vehicle. I'm not trying to edit vehicle. I'm trying to pick this dude up. There we go. It is my vehicles with the starter. I don't know why the starter's going. Starter shouldn't be going if the if I'm not in the helm. So I gotta check that system out. All right. So dump these two jamokes off. All right. Good. Let's hello you. Could you thank you. Let's walk backwards. All right, let's get up here. Let's grab a cool car. And we'll go ahead. We'll dump these peeps off. That's a good little bit of cash. We need it now. Having that oil platform is going to be our key to cash and wealth. But at present, it is depleting our bank account. So you could kindly not follow me like a bunch of maniacs. Right there. Hey, hey. Green. Am I not clicking on you people? Come on, stop following me. Both gonna get a slap. Alright, let's see. Forget the name of this car that I wanted to use. This one here. I want to use this one. Go on there, green jumpsuit. Romper, whatever we call it these days. Headlights. There we go. Let's go dump these peeps off at the hospital. I really like this base. This would, like, you know, this is one of the reasons why I'm starting at this base now is would be my new preferred base. Is, you know, there's a nice, you know, you get that car access. I actually started building an airplane which can spawn there. You know, we can spawn helicopters. It's a really super convenient base. I prefer it to, the regular beginner base. Alright, let's get Greeny out of here. If you would... Oh, this is the person from the last mission. If you'd stand away from the door, please, I could enter this domicile. Stay there, please. Thanks. Alright, nice. There's a good 9 grand for that mission. See ya. Nice thing about a convertible. Alright. And we're off in style. You know, so I've whoa. Ha! Apparently I don't have downforce on the front of this. The wind picked me up on that one. Most of the cars now, I just put fins in the front and the back that are at 100%. So they make sure the car sticks nicely. But that little bit of cash is nice. We're down to what, like 14 grand? So that's an extra 9 on top of that. So, you know, good bit of our money back to where we need it. All right, good. So that is nice. Let's see where we're at here. So 22K. All right, so that's pumping station. I'm going to no clip, and I want to go back over there, and I'm just checking. Again, this is part of the testing. I need to make sure this pumping system works with the new pressure update. If you notice, we have a green light on. Green light means we're over 300 degrees, means we're that we should be fractioning. Not fracking, fractioning. That is making diesel. We've got diesel. Okay, beautiful. So this works fine. You know, I understand people may not have too much of a chemistry. You don't need a chemistry. You know, I don't know. What would pressurization be? I think pressurization is mostly... It is physics, but a lot of it's kind of, if you understand the chemistry, it's, I think, you know, chemistry is my big, what I loved when I was in school. But the, you know, if you understand a little bit about pressurization, it really makes sense. A lot of people, I don't think, have the basics understanding of pressurization, and that's kind of why they're having problems. Is you need to understand you can't just push a liquid into a container that already has gas and expect to be able to just press that gas, because eventually you're going to compress the gas so much it will literally turn into a liquid. And if you could compress that gas enough to turn into a liquid, well, guess what? Liquids are non-compressible. Once that gets to a certain pressure, it's not going to be able to be pressurized anymore. And our pumps have a limit on how much pressure they can push. And so eventually, once the pressure becomes too much, you can't put any more liquid in there. You know, and that's, so if you look here, we'll go over this fractioning system again. I need to do a fractioning tutorial. I'll do a new one. I haven't done any of them, but this system works beautifully. You know, I did a bunch of testing. Unfortunately, I never put out a tutorial. I'll make one now that this is out. But this system works really well because you notice this actually looks like real fractioning towers. Let me see if I can find... I'll find some pictures and I'll show you guys some fraction towers. Right, fractioning. Yep, so fractioning towers. Here's some fractioning towers right here. So they look kind of like this. And it's, again, this is a pretty basic chemistry. Why won't you image in no tab? Okay, it just doesn't want to do it. Scumbag. Just open the image in a new tab. Come on there, guy. It won't do it. But I have protections on the page, so I can't do it. But here's a fractioning tower. You notice they're very skinny. Why are they skinny? Imagine you need to boil a little bit of water to make a tiny bit of pasta, and you say, okay, I'm gonna boil it in my swimming pool, right? It's gonna take you friggin' forever to get your swimming pool up to temperature, right? Now say, okay, I need to do a tiny little bit of pasta. I'll use as little water as possible to get that pasta to boil. Or to boil my pasta. So the smaller the volume of liquid, the quicker and easier it is going to be for you to boil it off, or to get the temperature to rise up. So if you look at, let's see, this one's a good one here. I've used this one before. So this is how fractioning works. I remember this from chemistry. You know, so you're bringing your oil in, and the oil is heated up. So you put your oil through a pipe, the furnace heats up the pipe, a lot of surface area, it heats up quickly, and it comes into the tower. And so what it's going to do is the heavier elements are going to go to the bottom, their density is higher, and the lighter elements are going to go up. And so you start getting things like fuel oil is very heavy, diesel is less heavy, kerosene, which is jet fuel, is less heavy, petrol, which is gasoline, is less heavy, butane, propane, you start getting into your gases. And so you're separating this out. You get your really heavy stuff like lubricating oil, paraffin wax, and asphalt. That's where they get asphalt from. You know, it's a thick, gummy tar. So the thick, gummy tar goes down, the thin fuels go up. And so like diesel, if you put diesel in your hand and in your fingers and you rub it around, it feels very oily. It's thick and it's oily and it's viscous. If you do that with jet fuel, it feels a little less viscous than diesel, not too much. And then you do it with gasoline. Gasoline still feels slippery, but it vaporizes pretty quickly, you know. And then, you know, I'm trying to think what's higher than that. Probably getting some really like high octane gasoline, maybe. You might be getting a little bit on the thinner side, but That's how the fraction tower works. And so, like, looking at real fraction towers here, you can kind of apply that to the game. You can see them here. Those are, you know, by making them nice and thin, it's easier to heat something when you don't have a lot of volume. So this was a problem a lot of people were doing when this first came out. They put these big, huge tanks and they tried to heat them up. And it's like trying to boil that big pot of spaghetti. And the problem was, if you're adding cold oil, like this oil is constantly flowing in here. If we look at the pump, that's cold oil going in there. So the cold oil is coming into the fractionating tower and it's trying to cool down the oil in here. And so, you notice the tank is as thin as I can get it, and then it gets thicker up here as it goes around those fractionating ports. And then, so this here is diesel right here, and that's jet fuel on the top. And so it's as thin as it can be so that I think it's one block in there. And then it just goes as big as it needs to be to get the port, and then it goes up again. I think it even thins out inside a little bit. And if we look here, this whole tank only holds 1,800 liters. So that whole tank is 1,800 liters. That makes it really easy to maintain temperature. So you notice the temperature is easy to maintain. A lot of people have like 10 furnaces on there trying to keep it heated. You don't really need that. You want to keep as little fuel in there as possible. And then once it's fractioned off, you push it off into storage tanks. So, but you notice we're starting to get a good bit here. I'm wondering why this is stopped. It's going. It's just slow. It's going all right. It's slow. I'm going to start pushing some jet fuel in there. So we have a little bit. Let's start pushing jet. That's going to be our money maker too. So that's probably what it was. It's probably start pushing some jet in there. There we go. All right, so I think we're a little bit airlocked up there. That's what it was, I bet. I bet I might need to put an air relief up top. So that's letting some of this out. So essentially, it's probably letting some of the gas out of this into here, and then pushes in, and then there's gas reliefs there. So it's probably helping me relieve some of the gas pressure. All right, so we're putting some good bit of diesel and jet in there. Lovely. All right, so now that we know that's working, we can save this, and I can go back to working on some builds. So nice. Real little chat here. All right, so let's go ahead and save this. I just keep alternating saves here. Good practice. That way, if you screw something up, it does not become a problem. How's it going there, Rasmus? What's happening? If those of you who are participating in the challenge, I see some people are having some time constraints. If it becomes a consensus that you guys need more time, let me know. I'm happy to do that. You know, if it's like one person, I usually don't extend it. But like the VTOL challenge, people ask for an extension. I have no problem extending some of these things out. So just let me know if you guys need any extensions on that. I saw a couple people were tight on time. All right, so let's see. Let's load up the Gator, or the Croc, I'm sorry, the Gator. It's not the... Let's see. I want to play with this a little bit. I'm going to see if I have literally no cooling in here. And so that, as you can imagine, is problematic. So let's try something here. Can I cut you, rotate you, and push you up here? I can. Gorgeous. All right. Let's see if we can do something with this. Alright. So, like, literally this system has no cooling in it, and I could probably use a little bit of cooling. And I'd like to probably put an air cooler in here if I could fit it, but we'll see. That could go up in here. See if I can get a stock radiator in here. I don't know. I'm hurting on space. Yeah, I'm really hurting on space in this. That's not even supercharged. What do we have here? What are you? Nothing there. Okay, so that could theoretically take a pump. I could probably supercharge this frickin' thing too. And then what's on this side? Could this take a pump? Maybe. Problem is I'm really hurting on space on this. Let's not play with a Croc at the moment. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's see if I can find a... I'm going to try to find a fuel tanker. I'm trying to find an image, and we'll make a quick fuel tank for the IFA. And then we'll go and we'll grab that diesel, put it in our base, because a lot of what's tying me up right now is the ability to move some... the ability to have enough fuel to do some of the stuff. So that's kind of the slow point. That's, you know, like I did the new player career build series, and part of that was kind of impressing upon people you have to start thinking fuel early. You know, the quicker you get your fuel issues resolved, the better. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so looking at some old tankers here, so like these, like that is a fuel tanker here. Portrait is a East German, you know, company. There's an IFA with the tilt bit on it. Just kind of getting some idea of what I want this to look like, and then I'll build it out. This is a slurry tank, but I kind of like the look of that, so maybe something like that. Yeah, you know, something like that I think would look kind of nice. Right. Try to kind of use that as my basis, and we'll get building here. So I did a couple things off screen, so I'll show you those. Show you guys that. So I just put a dolly on this trailer. This is starting to exceed, you know, really press the IFA for weight. You know, pulling doubles. The whole point of the doubles is the way that the devs did the Industrial Frontier. When you dump your mineral in there, you need to have another trailer already sitting under the receptacle. So I can't dump the mineral and then go back under it and receive it. So that sucks. They just need a on-off button. But so I need to bring a second trailer, take this trailer, dump it under, go grab the other one. You know, so it's kind of a pain, but it is what it is. Let's see. Okay, let's grab this trailer here, and we'll build up the symmetry. Come on, man. All right, so we'll build up a quick tanker. So we need to go get that diesel and put it in our base, and then we don't have to worry about diesel anymore. So that's the, like, I really like the oil update for that. Is, well, one, it gives you something to do, but two, it also I think it's really good for, you know, you're able to make your own diesel. You can run it passively, like it's just going to run in the background. I don't need to do anything. It's there making diesel the whole time I'm sitting here doing something else. So that's kind of cool, and I like that. I think I want to integrate this in. So we're going to go lower on the frame rails here, and then... I can't, there's no point in lowering the frame rails anyway, so... I should get my let's go ahead and make the system for the landing gear here. So I will do that. I want to crank for the landing gear, so we'll make that work, and I'll figure out the logic for that. So... Alright, here's a torque crank. Here's symmetry. Alright, so what I think I'm going to do is... why is that going to be so frickin' big, too? Torque meter. Alright, let's play with this. You know, I'd love it if they made it so we actually had some manual stuff, so like we just manually crank stuff would be really cool. Okay. Let's see, knee gear. Alright, so we're gonna go number input, gen. Number output, gear. Composite input, panel. Read of 1. Okay, and then that will go there. This will go here. Bingo. Let's run that, see how I like the performance on that. So essentially the electricity is going to be... need to work our electricity for this. So the generator is going to go directly to here. This does not need electricity because of the flip switch. Alright. And then we need to plumb it. So let's go... this is going to go here. It goes to the generator. Compose out goes there. Alright. See what this is making for me here. And so where are we at there? That is, let's do a couple decimal places here. No, don't do that. Cat's kicking me. Okay. And where do I want this to be? That's going to go back to 0 if it stops, so. Yeah, see, it's going to go back. Okay. So I have another way to do this. So we're going to go up, down, counter. Let's quickly do this. About level, that's pretty good. All right, what are we at there? Negative 0.13. Okay. Negative 0.13. All right. So this is going to be not that. Control C that. We'll back this sucker up. No. Alright, we're screwed there. Alright, that's fine. Redo some of this. Just give us mechanical parts, devs. Have to do all this rigmarole and crap to get this to work right. Let's see. Alright, so that's greater than 0, and what was the max number? It was like 0.005. Okay. Okay, let's try that. I probably should hook it up, huh? Alright, let's give it a look. Yeah, it's not gonna like the delta, I don't think. So let me try something really quick. I want to see how sensitive this is. I want to see how fast this stops moving. Yeah, see, it's gonna be what's the max value here? Trying to see what the max value of this torque crank gets to. So 0.005. Okay, good. So I've got a better, easier way to do this. So I'm over complicating this for not really a good reason. So. Right. I want this part here to stay. Okay, the rest of it can go. it's such a small delta, it's not really gonna work. Try that. It's a little bit simpler. What is going on here? What is it reading out, though? This should be reading out the SWATs correctly. I don't know why. 0.005, so that's greater than 0.005. Okay, then if I click it over, it should be reading negative 0.005. Oh, that's why it's going to be, let's see. That works. If it's less than 0.005, so generator comes in here, negative X there. Okay, flip off that. Yeah, why? Why is this not working? It's just such a small number, it doesn't love it. Might just be the number so friggin' tiny, it's just confused. I don't know. 0.001, let's see here. Let's do this. Make it 0.1. That should at least be able to show it, but try that. Yeah, it still doesn't want to do anything. Oh, you know what? It's at max position. That's why. Okay. That's stupid on my part. It was already all the way up. That's why I forgot to put it in reverse. Alright, that'll be why. Okay. That was my fault. Thinking of nonsense instead of doing it right. There we go. Let's try it now. Because the gear are already all the way down, so. There we go. There we go. Alright, good. That works well like that. Alright, grab you. I'll have to make that a module at some point, yank it off of here and put it somewhere else. Alright, so let's see. Let's go with this silver here. Okay. Okay. Oh, symmetry. Where are you there, guy? Alright, I'll see if I can recess this in at some point, too. Trying not to do flicky camera too much. missed it by one. I don't want to miss it by one. Alright, there's the cylinder. I kind of want to recess it in there, so I might... That's the problem is these, the landing gear will pierce it, so landing gear is kind of my problem. Let's see, is a 2 too much? Probably 2 is too much. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. It has to go 1, 2. Alright, that's good there. Alright, and we'll relieve the air on top. Alright, nice. So that is kind of set up. Alright, beautiful. And then we need stanchions on here. So let's see, what's the length of this bed, John? You are 22, even number. Ew, gross. That sucks. Right. 5. Right there's 5. Alright. I think I need to reset the music. Really 5 right there? 5 right there? It's 5, okay. Yeah, I'll go one more in the stanchions. I don't know. Not too bad. We need one more probably. No, stop. good. All right. Two, three, five. 1, 2, 3, 5. Bingo. All right, there we go. All right, not too bad. I'll read a little chat here. I'll get that music going again. Pick another one here. Find something good. All right, let's read this chat here. Oh, nice. You have the pump station to use that pump jack. Very cool. Thanks, officer. I appreciate that. Sorry I'm a little late on chat. How's it going, Rasmus? I tested. So the other thing I did is I tested out. I've not played with steam pistons again, but I tested out boilers and steam turbine, and I had no problems with that. So anyone was wondering if steam is working. There are a bunch of people who are still having issues with steam, but the turbines, I was having no issues with turbines. Yeah, if anyone has, I'll put an announcement up. If anyone has any, I'll put it in the, I'll do it right now, for the challenge. Let's see. All right, I just put a message up there. So if anyone needs more time, they can let me know. And then if I get a bunch of people, I'll just extend it. It works fine for me. Yeah, I would love some manual buttons, levers, and things like that. That works pretty realistically there, but it's like I have to doctor it and tweak it to get it to work right. It's like, it'd be nice to just have it work innately. All right, let's save this. IFA tanker trailer. Okay, IFA tanker trailer. Bingo. All right, let's grab the IFA. Yeah, I'll show you guys the airplane fuselage I was working on. I wanted to get an airplane in here. I had a notion that I was going to be able to land at the refinery island. I'm like, that's probably not wise. But this will allow us to move jet fuel, which is going to be kind of the key to when we need some money, we can go move some jet fuel. And that's how we can kind of get moving on that. Oh, Christ, on a cracker. What did I just do? I distracted my own self here. Let's get that back. There it is. Okay. Instead of select tooling it in, I just reloaded it in. There we go. Alright, this trailer currently has no brakes on it, so that is something I do have to work on at some point, but I'll do that at some point. Alright. I do need to move the kingpin. I do need to extend the front tongue of the trailer, too. This is about how fast you crank landing your IRL. And in the winter, when they're frozen, it's even slower and more miserable. Everything's designed to destroy your back, so. Let's see. Let's see. Override time is on, so we're gonna just go to the morning here. I'm going to turn the override off. Try to just keep us out of night for a little bit. So it looks pretty good. It's very, very tall. That chassis is tall, but, you know, they were pretty tall chassis in the ones I was looking at. I like to lower it. I'm going to try to... I need to move some things. The problem is, again, the pistons are the limiting factor. I think I can get them up higher. And then, yeah, if the starting position's pretty high, I think we'll be good. So I should be able to lower that frame a little bit. It's not bad, but it's a little bit on the high side. Need to tweak the IFA a little bit. It needs the rev higher so that it can make some more power because it is a tiny motor. Like, that's where you're getting power in small motors is revs, you know? Big motor, you don't need to rev very high. A small motor, you have to rev out to get any power to wring its neck. I was reading some Chasm driving. Yeah, it needs to be extended, the tank. It's gonna be, see where I need about 2 to 3 more blocks on that frame, so the frame will go up a little bit, probably. These tanks tend to be, like, it's pretty small like this, though. There's a small truck, you'd have a small tank. You figure, I don't know what the capacity of this tank is, but this tank capacity is probably pretty damn big. Ah, shite. Okay. Stand by. Let's see. Let's test it. Screw it. We're going to do a test and see if I can gravity fill this tank. Because I sit quite a bit lower. I don't have a pump on this tank. We'll see if I can gravity fill it. If I can gravity fill this tank, that would be kind of cool, so. Because my old, you know, in the other career build series, I would pump in from the truck. The truck would actually pump. So we're doing a good 90 kilometers an hour, so not too shabba-labba-dabba-dabba-ding-dong, so we're empty, though. Steering's a little bit quick. I need to drop the sensitivity down on the seat. And there she is, so. You know, so this really helps make this career gameplay a lot more reasonable, is that I can easily get out there and, you know, it's a very short drive now for fuel, so, and we have pretty much, not an unlimited supply of fuel, but we have a lot of damn fuel, so. Alright, we'll see if I can gravity feed this in, so. A lot of people don't like downshifting. You gotta downshift. Right. Get a quick screenshot here of this. I have no brakes in the trailer, so it's a little bit tough to get it. Get out of there. All right. All right. We got a screenshot. Let's get rid of the display cap. All right. Let's set the brake. Shut the engine off. Fire extinguisher. Get out of there, you devil. I still need to put the fire extinguisher and the repair torch on the IFA. Alright, let's get that. What is this? Purge. I don't need the purge anymore. Let's see if it's filling the tank. Oh, I don't have any way to tell. Crap. I didn't put a thing in there. That's not helpful. Alright, whatever. Let's see. I'll see if this is filling. I won't be able to tell because this isn't gonna. See, this is stopping me at like 2300, so I don't know what the dealio is with that. Temperature's low in this tank here. Let's stop this for a second. See why? I'm curious why this is so cold. Yeah. Might be getting airlocked. I might have to test the system out, see why it's getting airlocked, because this should be relieving the pressure. I might need to put in some more pressure relief in the system. So, but okay, the 2 oil tanks have about 50,000 liters in them each. We have oil, we have diesel. It's not going anywhere, so we're gonna have to probably pump it out. I don't think we're getting any in our tank here. I'm gonna no clip in the tank. I didn't even double check to make sure I didn't put a hole in it, so. Looks sealed to me. Let's see. 0.16 liters per second. Yeah, that's not gonna cut it. So we will, I need to pump it. Right. So we'll go bring this back, and I need to put a pump on here. So. We'll go back. We'll put a pump on this trailer. Could put them on the base, but I have to recall the base. That's something I need to remember to do next time, is put it on the base. But, you know, now I have about 100,000 liters of oil sitting in that, so I'm not despawning it. So that does need pressure. Relief valves on somewhere in the system is getting clogged up with air. Not a big deal. It probably could be on the piping. So need to work that system a little bit. I don't want to lose all that oil. It's a lot of oil to lose, so. Go back and we'll fix a couple things in this trailer. I'm liking the IFA though. The IFA is kind of cool. Working pretty well. A little bit of a different design, kind of old school. I think it's one of my only single screw tractors I have. Most of them are twin screws. So especially when this fills up, when this is full, I'm gonna have to be careful because I don't have any brakes on this sucker right now. So because I don't have any brakes on the trailer, that trailer's gonna want to come ahead of me. So I need to be careful with that. Alright. Let us see. I hate these arrows with the passion. Okay. Alright, let's run that. It's not too there. That's fine where it was. All right. Alright, we'll just read out the quantity as well. It's getting annoyingly big. Alright. I have no clue what's in there, so I need to check it. Spawn that. Let's take a look. Of course, I have the. I'm working on the version connected to the IFA, so I gotta delete that out. It's a pain in the ass. The hell is it? Where's the liquid meter? Right there. 14062. Okay, 14062. Right, let's see. Alright, let's see. What else do we need? Is that all hooked up? That's all hooked up. Alright, electricity is going like that. It's going like that. This goes to the pintle. We have pintle connection there. Alright, good. That's good. Alright. Hopefully that works nicely. We'll see. Alright. I meant to make the tongue longer too. We'll do it while I'm here. Camera. Annoying. Oh, come on, give me the goddamn wheel. Put the gear up today. Nope. Make sure this works. Yep, it's running. All right. I'm not sure what IFA stands for. I looked it up the other day, but I forget what this means. Alright, but it's good to get a little diesel in here, and then that really gets us moving. You know, that gives us good cash flow if we need it. Yeah, at some point too, we can always run a rail car, you know, full of diesel close, and then run it off with the truck, but save on a little transport cost, transport time. But it's not a big deal. You know, taking fuel long distance is kind of nice on the train. Fire extinguisher laying on the ground. Alright, I've got the engine revved up just to make electricity, which actually it's not gonna, no, it's alternator, it's gonna work, okay. So I'm just using it to generate electricity here. We'll see how much the pump takes. I'll start cutting off that. Make sure we fill here. There we go, we're filling. Okay, good. So I'm gonna just watch the electricity here as I rev down. So if we look here, we have plenty of electricity. Is infinite electricity still on? It is. Okay, let's take that off. Alright, so we'll start to gently decrease the revs here. And you'll see where we start to lose electricity. So like there, we can't keep up with electricity. Our RPM's too low, so we'll bring the RPM up. Like, it doesn't have to be all that high. And now we're in neutral, and that's revving, so it's making electricity. Enough electricity to run the pump, so filling up. Let's see how this is running. So there needs to be some sort of purge in here. I do have old filters in here. I could see that as being a problem. But all the tops have it, so they should be... Oh, you know what I bet it is? I bet you I know what it is. Each of these filters is set to liquid only. So it's letting air come in and block the systems. Okay. So I know what I need to do. So I need to get rid of all these old filters. I need to be able to let the air go through the system, and then it will go at the top of the tanks. So that's what's causing the problem. It's all logical. It makes sense. It's how it would be in real life. It's just, you know, I think a lot of people just don't understand how it would be in real life, and so they get a little confused here. This here, I don't know why this isn't heating again. So let's shut off jet fuel. Shut off diesel. So something's probably up with the cycle heater. So it's probably the same thing. This is probably now airlocked. Alright, so that's fine. I don't care if I lose all this oil, but I will, so I need to get out, pretty much take all the old filters out. And so this is air purged here, so what will happen is this will take in some air. What I'll probably do is put a liquid valve here, so it only takes liquid. The benefit of letting the air and the liquid go through is it will spit the air back into here, which will vent. And then it will, yeah, so I think I need to get rid of these old filters. So, not a big deal. We'll consider that part of the testing. I'm just not going to pump anymore. I don't want to keep taking oil in. But we are filling up the tank, so... That is the big thing that we need to accomplish, was get some damn diesel in here. So that's good. Alright. Nice, nice, nice. That's beneficial. You know, unfortunately, I can't go in the workbench and work on something else because if I go on the workbench, it pauses everything outside, so just it would never fill. So some of this stuff I might end up doing off screen. Like if I have to transpo fuel, I might do it off screen just because it's like I can't really go in the work. It's not like I can go work on a build while I'm doing this. I kind of have to just hang. But you know, it's good. We don't need. I'm not going to fill this tank up full, but need to get some in here. We don't even have 14,000 liters. We have like 2,000, which will set us for a little bit. Let me make sure no clips off. I just don't want to get a mission far away that I'm going to want to do, but I can't do it because we don't have the equipment. So that's what's happening is all these filters here, they will only let liquid through, but the problem is there's gas in the lines, and so the gas stays in the lines, and then it overpressures. And so what I need to do is allow that gas to come out of the lines and go into these big cylinders. Because once the gas is allowed to flow into the cylinders, it can vent out of the top. And so what's happening is it's getting pipe bound. It's getting pipe bound, it's getting pipe bound, and then it can't go anywhere. And so it gets stuck in the pipes. So it makes perfect sense. It's pretty normal. That's what happens. Yep. I like the East German stuff. Oh, thank you there, Professor Wood. I appreciate that. So what are we down to here? We are down to 1,800. So like you notice this tank couldn't take in any more until I started going out of here, because I bet you if we look in here, some of that air vented into this. And you notice this is venting at 1.58 liters per second, which I bet you were probably pushing about 1.58 liters per second in here. Yep, close. We're pushing 1.74 liters of diesel in this per second, and we're pushing out, you know, close to that in air at the same time. You know, so this is pretty good. This will get us moving on fuel. Nice. So I might just let that run. Let's see. I'm gonna go take a quick bathroom break, and we'll watch this run, and then I will come back and I'll show you the plane that I started working on. I started working on a plane that was, you know, that is gonna be our plane in this. So I'll be right back. All right, I am returned. Yeah, I like a lot of the East German stuff. I just think it has like a brutalist aesthetic. I really kind of dig it. You know, it looks old school, very manual operation. I like it. You know, utilitarian in nature. That's kind of how I like to build. All right, where are we at here? 8:30. Good. So that's a good bit of diesel in there. We have another 2 grand of jet in here. What I'll do is I'll make a save and I'll quickly test this out, see if we can unbind the piping. I'll let that run. I don't know why. See how it's running cold? I bet you that's probably air. Air is not a good conductor. So if we're air-bound, it wouldn't surprise me why I'm having problems heating. So, because if we look there, if you look at the coolant out and coolant in, we're not moving any liquid. Look at our atmospheres. We're at 60 atmospheres. So we're at max atmospheres. So there's only air in the furnace. And because there's only air in the furnace, then we can't effectively move the liquid. So the liquid is a better conductor than the air. And so we're not able to heat as effectively. So I'm going to quickly just... can I teleport? Or no clip? I'll teleport. Let me show you the plane I'm working on. So, already in a plane mode again. So I worked on this fuselage. Started working yesterday. So this was... just banging this together yesterday. So... where we're at, I'll show you some of the features. I can't spawn it with them, no money. But that's... I'll just show you. But this is going to be a plane for the series here. So just built the fuselage out as it's me. Just a lot of trial and error, moving things around. But this is a 5 wide space in here. This didn't get the treatment the other side has, so I need to fix this. Why is this screwed up? Okay. So there's going to be 5 wide in here, which allows me to put my pallets in here. So I can put a diesel or jet fuel pallet in here. Needs more detailing in there. Landing gear is plumbed up and working. So landing gear is all fits. There's a cockpit. No work done in it. So most of that work will get done in here. I don't have anything really in the engine bays except like a mock-up of space. So that is a, what is that size-wise? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a flat 8. And then fuel goes in the front part of the hips here. So that will be our airplane for this. Nice little cargo plane we can start doing some stuff with. And it spawns in this car base. So it spawns right here, which would be nice for being able to do some stuff there. Yep, always in a plane mode. But my initial idea was to fly our ass from here over to here and try to land on this strip here. But then I'm like, I can't get over here to pump. So I'm like, I can't drag that far of a hose. And then I need to try to take the plane off straight out of there. And it's like pretty damn hairy to do that. So a good chance of a crash. And so it's like, it's not the smartest way to do it. Let's see what else. I was hoping to get a mission. Let's go take a nappy new and try to get a mission. We'll let that pump in the background. And then what I'm going to do is I'll recall that whole pumping rig. Yeah, I kind of planned on focusing on testing. I need to fix the air. So I'm thinking it's all the old filters. The pressurization system does make sense. If you were to put highly pressurized air into a container, you can't get any liquid in there. There's no space for it. It's full. People think of air as nothing, especially at high pressures. Air is a lot of something, and you just can't get the liquid in there. And so it makes perfect sense. It's just I think a lot of people just don't understand the pressure, don't understand pressurization in general. Shit, do I have no clip on? I don't. Okay, so it's probably, hopefully it's close. Okay, it's right here. Perfect. All right, door panel is on fire, 3 grand. Maintenance engineer reports that a door control panel caught fire due to a short circuit. It's a small electrical fire, and they're not equipped to fight it. So we're going to go in a car and fight their fire for them. These guys suck. Oh, I don't have the cash for it. Let's see where we're at cash-wise. I'd take the fire truck if we had cash. We don't have a ton of cash. So if we had the cash, I would spawn the fire truck from the JSI challenge. Yeah. That fire truck may not like going over some of this bumpy terrain. That fire truck's designed to be a city truck, so we'll take one of the cars. Again, there's a big thing, like, I was reading some commentary and some people, like, on the challenge, and somebody's like, oh yeah, all my trucks are like 100 grand. And it's like, my trucks are cheap, and my cars, and it's like, it's nice to have some stuff that's kind of extravagant and expensive, but it's also like, you know, you start having some expensive stuff. You can't really do as much, but a lot of people don't play career, so that's like that's 9,800. That's not gonna work. Let's see what the bug costs. No, what the hell was it called? Insect. Insect. What's the insect cost? 6. That's too high. Big man car is probably definitely too high. Let's see what I have for cars here. This one. Let's see what you were. Bingo. Just need a Fire X. Okay. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna go through on the day here just because makes it hard for everybody to see. There's a 5 parking brake. That's usually what I have there. So this is my 5 wide car, and the whole point of this is this can fit on little airplanes like that. So this is designed to fit on airplanes and stuff of that scale. So that's why this car is so small, is so that it can fit on those little on those airplanes and stuff, so I can transport them. I don't know how many cylinders this is. This has got to be a 2, I think. I think it's a 2-cylinder. 1 cylinders, you really have to play around to get them to give you enough power to do much. Oh, don't tip over. This one is pretty low center of gravity, but I can probably roll it. So, you notice how it self-recovers? That's the steering stability system. It automatically will recover pretty much because it's trying to maintain that angular velocity, and then you just let it do its thing. Let go. That's what happens in real life, is the wheels want to straighten out. People will try to overcorrect when you get in a spin in real life. You need to, like, loosen your grip up. You want to monitor it. You want to kind of, like, you don't necessarily, unless you're a professional, it's kind of hard to help it along. But the wheels will straighten the car out. You just kind of have to do it. The planes do the same sort of thing, as, like, sometimes if a plane starts... starts rolling or pitching or stalling, or like we used to do spin recovery. We had to do it for my flight instructor rating, and like we'd tell the students, like, get your hands off the controls, see what the plane's going to do on its own, and you notice it because it's inherently stable, it wants to recover, and that's part of the steering stability system. Is it's simulating realistic stability, so the wheels turning, so you kind of want to let it do its own thing in real life. You know, people will panic and they'll start jerking the steering wheel and they'll just aggravate it. It's better to relax and kind of let the vehicle start to stabilize itself. You know, there's something called PIO, which is pilot-induced oscillation, where you get pilots over-controlling and they'll start an oscillation, and then it causes real havoc. And like, there's one real bad case they showed. It was an F4, I think, and they got into PIO, and both engines broke out of the bottom of the airplane, and the 2 engines departed out of the bottom because the PIO was so bad. Yep, the wheels have a gyro effect, so essentially what's happening is the stability system it's acting like the gyro effect of the wheels. Did I put the blinker on? I did. Okay, so I have this labeled wrong. Headlights I had as 1. Blinkers are that. Maybe 4. There are 4 as headlights. Okay. Try not to jump over these crazy jumps. Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind in game is, like, some people will be like, oh, the cars, they're always rolling and flipping, and it's like, one thing is, it's like, if you look at the speed a lot of people drive, they're going like 90 miles an hour, and they're going over a huge bump at 90 miles an hour, and then they don't expect to roll. It's like, dude, if you were going 90 miles an hour, your spine would be broken, if you hit something like that. Don't stand right next to it, you dope. Standing right next to the fire. What a dummy. Take like 2 steps. There we go. Am I taking you with me? Probably not. I think it was just a fire. Yep, it was just fire. So not too shabba-labba. But I like this little car. This little car is funny. Nice shit. Yeah, I like doing these like real tiny builds. They're fun, you know, because they're a challenge. It's like you know, a lot of stuff gets oversized really quickly too in game because it's like just the way the size of the parts. Yes, you have to hit this just right to get through that gap. It's a tiny little gap. I could go around, but that's absurdity. And having these tiny little cars is kind of fun. Yeah, you really have to, it's a challenge to get everything to fit in there. It's a challenge to cool them. This, I think, is this air cooled? I can't tell. Yeah, this is air cooled, so I gotta watch the temperature gauge. Oh, it's not plugged in. Ugh, that's not good. My temperature gauge isn't plugged in, so I don't know how hot my engine is. And it's air cooled, so. So, we'll run it a little bit less stressful on the way back. Because I don't want to overheat. I don't have a torch on me, so I can't fix it. Yeah, that was like, you know, I was talking earlier about like I was commenting on Reddit that, you know, people were saying the stock gyro is terrible, and it's like it isn't. Like literally everything I use, every plane I have, every helicopter has stock gyro. It's, you know, if you build your vehicle to be incredibly unstable, the gyro cannot fix it, and that's what some of the people stuff on the workshop is doing. I went the wrong way. Gotta go this way? I think it's this way. Let me check. I gotta check the map. Let's see. No, that's right. Okay, we're all right. You know, essentially what they're doing is and I really dislike it because it's super wooden feeling. We're right here. We gotta go south on the south line. Okay. They feel very wooden, very stiff. Like a lot of games, that's how they make their vehicles feel. Is just very much like planted. And like I've flown with some of those controllers before. A lot of people put them on build review and they put them on their builds, and it's like, when you let go of the controls, it just sits there pretty. And that's not you flying. That's the plane flying, and you're just a passenger. And it's like, if you let go of the controls in an airplane, it's going to gently start to lower its nose. It's going to start to gain speed. As it gains speed, it's going to get more lift. As it gets more lift, the nose is going to pitch up, and it goes into a gentle oscillation. You know, and that's how I like it, because that's realistic. You know, and it makes you the pilot. You actually have to be there. It's like, you know, a lot of people's systems, you don't have to be there. And a lot of games do that because most people are not real-life race car drivers, they're not real-life pilots, they're not real-life truck drivers. And so, like, you get some of these games and they greatly simplify the machine operations because most people have no experience with it. So, of course, they're going to make it a little bit easier. But I just find it completely, like, it feels like the plane's flying for me. It's like, and I don't like that. You know. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I was afraid of that happening. Yep, this has air cooling in it, so I wish I had my temperature gauge hooked up to this. Okay. Let's see. I have to go get something and bring this back. I'm going to cheat here, again, because I'm just early game and I don't have much choice. Grab this, we'll bring it back to the workbench. But, starting to, once we get there a little bit, I'll go and grab a tow truck and do it. But that's like the thing is, like, I have no desire to run back. Like, if it was a video doing it, I could no-clip back and come back and grab a tow truck and it'd be fun. But it's like, right now, it's like, do you guys want to watch me run for 20 minutes? No. So that vehicle, let's work on that a little bit. This needs its temperature gauge because I had no clue what temperature we were running at. Do I have space for this is the question. Let's see. Let's see what we have going here for this. This has air cooling. I'm not sure how the new update is working with air cooling. I have to look at that. Alright, so this is going to be a pain right now. I don't have any info on this, so I'll have to deal with this later. We'll deal with that vehicle later. The whole reason I took that truck was it's cheap, so... Alright, let's go, and I'm going to go over and we'll look at the... See where we're at pumping. Let's read some chat. I do have an F1 car. It's not done. Yeah, I think I've been struck by lightning just once. We'll see you later there, Rasmus. Thanks for hanging out. I think I've only been struck by lightning once. Alright, they were at 2,000. I'm going to wait for this. This is almost full, so... You know, like, this is one of the reasons why it's nice. If you want to teleport, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's... The way I kind of RP it is it's me changing characters, you know. You'd have one person that their job today is to go and fill up the tanker and sit around and twiddle their thumbs. You know, and then I switch to another character and I'll go do a rescue. You know, it's like, you're not going to be doing a whole rescue service, oil industry, you know, boat captain all by yourself. You can have a bunch of people. And it's like with Triton, you know, instead of me, like, trying to climb up the dock every time, I'll no-clip up to the top of the dock because you would have somebody that's handling ropes who works at the facility. You'd have somebody who pilots the ship. You'd have somebody who runs the crane. You wouldn't be the guy who does everything, so it kind of lets you RP different tasks. It's kind of like course play in Farming Sim, you know. You're not going to have one person who works on this farm. You're going to have, you know, tens of people who work on the farm. You know, and so you have one person doing this job, one person doing that job. All right, we're almost full on the tank, and then we're going to work on this rig. So, see, we're almost done. Let me check this, and then I'll work on this rig. I'll see if I can fix it. We won't pump in a ton of oil. We'll pump in just a little bit of oil. So I'll let this last 270 liters of diesel go in my tank, and then what we'll do is I'll pull this base and I will work on it. So I think if I get rid of all these filters, what's going to happen is it's going to pump both air and fuel alongside one another. The air is going to go up into this tank and it's going to go out the top. So there's a air relief there. This one has an air relief on the side, so air will be pumped in here and it will vent. And so even if air goes through the cycle here, it's going to then come vent, cycle, vent. And so we'll keep 1 atmosphere of air in all the system. And so hopefully that will work all right. Air cooling is pretty effective. You know, that truck does not drive very fast, and because it's a 1 or 2 cylinder, it has to rev very high in order to get any sort of power. So it's not bad, but I do need to look at it. Do the property oil deposits have infinite oil? I think they are not infinite, but I've had this rig on my other save running constantly, and I've yet to run out of oil. I've taken hundreds of thousands of liters out of it. I think for all intents and purposes, it is essentially infinite in the sense that you're not going to really, it's not easy for you to run out. And then I think it replenishes, so I think it will over time go again. So like worst case, say this deposit here runs out. Well, I have one right here, so I go over here, pump from here, and then this one would probably replenish pretty quickly. So I think they do replenish, but I think it takes some time. All right, so we got to be close here. Yeah, I'm still going. All right. What's this looking like here? All right, we're just going to pull the plug on this now, and I'll go ahead and... I have a stupid fire extinguisher on me. All right, there we go. All right, so we have 2,200 liters of diesel in there, so we're going to need that. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to do a quick save here. and I will work on this. So. So let's get rid of all these filters. So these filters were all set to, if I click on them here, they were set to liquid only. That was before the pressure update. You know what? Let's do this. Let's grab it again. Now let's get rid of them. I was gonna just change them over to allow both, but I'll just get rid of them. I don't really need them. And, yeah. What's that pump doing? That pump is pumping. Okay, that's just, okay, and it's also pushing it. So I do have a pump pushing this out. All right. So let's do that. See ya. See ya. All right, we're going to test this, make sure this is running. So I'm not going to put a ton of oil in here, but I will put some oil in there. Okay, that goes up and in like so. And then that goes, okay, this has one right there, so that will get rid of that. So it's getting rid of all these filters here. Okay. Now we'll see how it behaves. We'll give it a test, and we'll fix any problems that it may have. So. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think this was a really huge pain in the ass to fix a lot of stuff. I understand it's frustrating when your builds break, but I think the amount of content this adds and the ability to really do some cool and new things like air brakes and all these other things that we'll be able to do now, I think the pressurization update was a great thing. You know, there are a lot of people who don't care about any of the mechanics, you know, and that's kind of the main thing of what this game is, you know. So if you don't really care about the mechanics, it's kind of what this game is about. And there is a good contingent of people who just they don't care about that type of thing, so it's understandable, but it's kind of like the whole purpose of the game is to build things and build systems and build cool vehicles, and some just have no interest in doing that, you know. You know, they don't really like the building aspect. They prefer the other stuff, and so it's you know, for them it's kind of it's onerous to actually have to go build something, where I think for those of us who I think maybe play a little bit more of how it's intended with building, then, you know, that's fun to go back and build some things, you know. And for some, that's very much they don't want to build anything. All right, see, where is this? That's okay, that's bottom fill, that's good. That's jet topped. Okay, that's good. I think I got them all. Let's save it up. What's this? That is, okay, this we'll get rid of. That's the pump there. These were filling fine. They just weren't able to purge out the air. So hopefully this will go, because this will let the air through here, and then it will push through here. The problem is with all the filters, the air was getting trapped in there and it couldn't come out. So hopefully this fixes it. Let's save this. You suck. Okay, that's fine. See the pipe is gone? Not a big deal. I did a precautionary save before, so if I didn't do that save, that would have sucked, because I would have had to put on the drill rig to put the pipe back in. Now I have to just load the save, press one button, and we're good to go. What block is that after the air valve? I'll have to look at it there, Fabian. On what piece of equipment, Fabian? All right, so I need to come up here and detach that that rod, because it will despawn it if I don't. So Alright, now we can do it. So that's why, again, do a precautionary save, man. Saves you a lot of aggravation. Yeah, the quicker you can write that, Fabian, I can actually do it because I'm not going to go back in the workbench here for a second. What part are you talking about? This is a gas. This is a fluid port. This is a gas relief valve, and this here is a fluid port. Is that the one you're talking about, the fluid port? Alright, so now you see, rod's back. Again, that would have sucked if you didn't do a precautionary save. So save, backups, all that stuff's important. Alright, we're going to pump in some, I'll pump in like, we'll pump in 3,000 liters of oil. And that will make it so that I can, we'll do 4. That way we can fill this fraction tower twice, and I can kind of get a good idea if it's working all right. You see how fast this pumps up. I have 2 tanks, so we're at 3,000 liters already. All right, that's good right there. All right, let's turn this on. Yeah, fluid port. That's the new fluid port. The old ones still work, but the nice thing with this is with the fluid ports, you need a space of 2. With this, you can put something right on the end of it, so that's a nice feature. I think the devs have learned from that, like, you know, a lot of us just, you make it hard to build stuff when you need to have 2 spaces for no good reason. Like these, you know, they make sense. You wouldn't want to block a port, you know, that's the whole point of a port. But it's nice to have one of these that it just ports from the side, so that makes sense, you know, so. I like they didn't take these away. They just added new ones that allow you to do that too. You know, not a big fan of taking away blocks. It's like, oh, you know, block building game. Keep giving me blocks, baby. Add 'em, add 'em, add 'em, add 'em, add 'em. You know, I want more blocks. So like this is filling with liquid. So if you notice, this is filling with liquid. It needs to push the air out. That's a lot of people are just not getting this. They think that air is nothing. You know, here, we'll go into paint. This is going to take a second anyway. But, you know, people are thinking that air is nothing. Air is not nothing. Air is something. And that's the problem is, you know, some basic misunderstanding of how this works is, let me quickly get some paint going here. Or is it? That's over here. Alright, so like, this is the fundamental misunderstanding people are having is, or some people are having, is that they think that air is nothing. It's not nothing, it's something. You know, and, okay, let's go 10 on that. You know, so if you have a container, alright, the container, you know, is in this case right now, let's see, let's go, magic wand, that, delete. All right, so here's your container, right? And so your container, if it had nothing in it, it would be a vacuum. It doesn't have nothing in it. It's going to have air in it. And so the way the game is working is we have air in there, and the air is at 1 atmosphere. So let's say at 1 atmosphere, we have 5% air. So 5% of the volume is actually the molecules that make up the air. So we go 5%. I'll go ahead, I'll make it this light blue, and we put it in there. And if we zoom in, you can see the molecules. So if we were to take this section right here, right, out of this section, 5% of it is the air molecules. All right, so there is something in there, all right? And this is why gases are compressible. This is nothing. The white is nothing. The air is something. The air is bouncing all around. The molecules are bouncing all around. When you compress it, what you're doing is pushing them closer together and you're taking up more space. All right, so that air is at 5%. All right. Let's see if I can get this to work right. So let's say we... I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. All right, so we'll draw a line in here. All right, so let's say we take a line and we, you suck, white. I don't want the white line to be white. Let's make it black. All right, so let's put this line in here. And let's say you start to fill this up. So let's say that is a, That's about a third of the tank. Now let's make it a half. All right, so let's say we do half the tank, okay? So we do half the tank. That'll be better. And we'll go ahead and we'll get rid of this section here. So now this is air, right? Now we filled the tank with water. All right, so if we put a vent in the top of the tank, where are we at here? Fill color solid, okay. Why is this doing it? Why is it doing it like that? Oh, this air stayed in the tank. I don't know why the air stayed in there, but it did. Okay, so if we fill the bottom of the tank with water, this is what it would look like if we had a vent. So I put vents on the top of my tanks. And if we had a vent system, let's say that the outside atmosphere is at 5%. This is what it would look like, 5%. But we don't. We didn't put a vent in our tank. All right. And because we didn't vent our tank, I don't know why this is doing that, where it won't let me do it. But it's keeping the old stuff in there. So now if we go ahead, if we don't have a vent, that air that was at 5% density, essentially, is now going to be at 10% density. So we go in there, and now, if you look at the molecules, it's fucked up because it's now at 15. But the air is now, it's tighter, right? So it's now at 10%. So 10% of the volume is filled with air molecules. All right. If we filled this all the way up the top, all this air would have to fill in there. So let's say we filled this tank to 90%. So I'm actually going to back this way out and fix this whole thing here. All right. So let's say we now fill this up with 90%. So 90% of this volume is going to be filled with water now. So let's say that's 90%. All right, we're going to fill it with water. All right, 90% of this tank is filled with water. We have not vented anything. We've just compressed the gas. The liquid's non-compressible. The gas is. All right, and so as we go to this, we're going to go back to air. We'll go now. So now it's going to be, it was at 10%, right? And so we'll make the math easy, 90. So now that's what it looks like. So the white dots are the vacuum. The blue dots are all being pushed together, all right? And so now all of that air that used to be in this container is now pushed and crushed and pushed together up here. So the air is compressible. The tank is not compressible. The liquid is not compressible, so the air has to compress. The problem is you start to have to pump in. So let's say your pump can handle a maximum atmospheres of 10. Well, if your pump can only handle 10 atmospheres, as soon as this air gets to 10 atmospheres, your water can't go in anymore. Your pump stops pumping. It can no longer push and overcome the force of the air, all right? And so you very quickly fix this by cutting a hole in it, right? So you put a vent. You put a vent in here. Well, now this air can pour out. The air outside, right, all of this air on the outside is at 10%, right? So air, or 5% is what I said. So the air outside in the world is at 5%. That's what it looks like. See how compressed this air is, right? So this air over here is highly compressed air. You put a hole in this tank, right? So now you have, that's fine. Delivery was fine, but so now you have your area of high pressure. All right, you have your area of high pressure, and you have your area of low pressure. All right, and then what you have here is you have your delta P. If I can find a delta, I'll make it bigger. Probably can't see that. So here you have your area of delta P. I can't really make a delta. I'm just going to do a caret. So there's your delta P. All right, that's your change, your differential in pressure. All right, so you have a low pressure here, you have a high pressure here. Things want to go from areas of high pressure to low pressure. So what's going to happen is you're going to have all of this super duper high pressure dense air. All right, it's going to come pouring out like this, and it's going to want to come out here. And as it comes out of the tank, it's going to start to equalize with this. So it's going to become thinner and thinner and thinner. So right now it's at 90%. As it gets further and further out, it's going to go to 80. All right, it's going to go to, we'll just accelerate this process, 30, right? As it comes out, it's going to go from, down from there. It's now at 10. You can barely see the difference. And then eventually it's going to go out to 5. And so now you notice it matches. So that's what's going to happen. So you need to vent your tanks. And you're going to, your pumps are no longer going to be overcome that. So the difference now we have with small pumps and large pumps, the large pumps can take more atmospheres. So you'll notice that like the smaller pumps I think can go to 10 atmospheres. And the larger pumps go to I think 60 now. I haven't tested them recently, but that's what they were. And so if this was at 60 atmospheres, the only way you'd be able to get more water in is if you had a large pump. Or let's say it was at 30 atmospheres. If this was at 30 atmospheres, the small pump couldn't put any more water in here, but the large pump could. You could overcome the pressure. All right. And then once you get 60, the large pump can no longer put any more water in. And so you need a relief valve. So that's, hopefully that makes some sense to people. That's kind of what's going on. That's what happens in real life. You need relief valves. Like they've literally showed, let me see if I can find it. I can't run the video. It'll probably try to demonetize this. But let me see if I can see a crushed oil tanker. All right, so I can't really play the whole video, but I'll just skip around it here. So what they're doing here is they're vacuuming out. This is a liquid container for a rail car, okay? Now what they should have is they have a vent on top. Let's say this is full of oil, okay? This is full of oil. Now at all times, the air pressure from here at, you know, standard atmosphere is 1. I like to think of it as pounds per square inch. A square inch is tiny. A square inch is like that big. All right, like the tip of my cursor is a square inch. So every square inch of this tank has 14 pounds per square inch pushing on it. You're talking, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds trying to crush this container. But you have oil in here, and you have steel, and the oil is non-compressible, and the steel is non-compressible. So as 14 pounds pushes on it, it doesn't care because it can't be compressed. And then what happens is as the oil goes down, if you don't replace it with air, you start drawing a vacuum. And vacuum is just nothing. So now you have some oil in the bottom, and you have some air in the top, and you have 14 psi trying to crush this container. All right? And so I can't play it because it's going to do it, but that's what it looks like afterwards. If you don't vent the air, if you don't allow the air to come in and to equalize, it will crush this big steel container and it will bend a rail car like it's nothing. You know, and that's the atmospheric pressures we're talking about. Let me see if I can find the exact moment it does. I can't really play the video. I think it's probably around here. But that's what will happen if you do that. So it will, I can play like 2 seconds probably. That's it in real time, what happens. You know, so you need to, you know, and that's like, I was talking about the Titan crew. It's the same type of thing as, you know, you have that much pressure pushing on, water pressure pushing on it, it's going to pop if it's not pushing back with an equal force, you know. So the importance of pressure and understanding it. But the game does a pretty good job of simulating it. I think a lot of people just have, you know, it's not perfect, not 100%, but there are some people who just, they don't have that much of a basis of understanding for it. So we're heated up here. Let's go ahead and we will run off the diesel. So what I'm looking for here is last time, look at our electric furnace. All right, so the reason it stopped, this makes 100% sense. A lot of people have been complaining, I've been finding that, oh, it's so counterintuitive the way the devs did it. I don't think it really is. I think this is actually pretty damn intuitive. I would ask these people, go back to the chemistry teacher and ask them. But look at the atmospheres on there. So see it's at 1.2, 1. You know, it's fluctuating. But notice it's going somewhere. All right, it's never building. The last system I had, it was built up to 60 atmospheres. Remember, once it hit 60 atmospheres, the pumps can't overcome the pressure of the air. So what's happening now is this is pumping liquid in, right? The liquid needs to go somewhere. It goes in the tank. It's pushing the air out of the top. Then it comes in the lines, and it's pushing air and liquid through here. As you can see, it's right there. It is right there. It's coming through. It's going into here, and then it's coming out of here. See it coming out at 90 liters per second? All right. So we are venting 90 liters per second of air because this is filling with liquid. All right. And so it's pumping air through the tank, through the pipe, in through here, and out here. Now, notice it is building up a little bit. Why is it building up a little bit? Because it's pumping more air in than I'm able to relieve here. So notice I'm only relieving about 100 liters per second. All right, it's up to 29 atmospheres. All right, okay, we'll stop to do that then. Now notice it going down. All right, that makes perfect sense. All right, because I only have one gas relief valve on this. So I'm able to pump more air in than I was able to relieve. And so I'm building up pressure. It's going to make the system eventually not work very well. Well, there's a couple ways I can fix this. One, every once in a while I can shut off the system and let it vent. All right, give it time to vent the system out. Am I cycling? My cycler? Oh, okay, my cycler's on. I can't see the red of it, the orange of it. So you notice the atmospheres are dropping, right? And notice the rate. We're at 62 liters per second. We're going down 61. Of course we are. The air pressure is what will make it vent quicker or slower. As we get down to, like, say, 1.1 atmosphere, it's going to be very slow. Notice the green light came back on telling us that we're at temperature. Why were we struggling to get temperature? Because it's hard to heat air. Air is an insulator. Air is not a good conductor. And so there's a bunch of essentially insulator in here. Insulators don't want to pass temperature very much through them. Conductors want to pass temperature through one another. And so, like, if you look at your windows, most modern windows are double pane windows. You have a pane of glass, which is a conductor. The glass wants to heat up, and it wants to pass the hot glass into the room. Well, you don't want that. You don't want a bunch of heat in your room in the summertime, right? And so what they did was they took a pane of glass, they put an air barrier in between, and then they put another pane of glass. So what happens is that that piece of glass heats up from the sun. It then tries to pass its heat to the air in between. The air is a good insulator. It's not a good conductor. And because it's not a good conductor, it essentially acts like a block. It's a insulator. It prevents the heat from going from the outside pane of glass to the inside pane of glass so that it can't go into your room and heat your room up. Same type of thing. Let's see. I don't have a flashlight on me, which sucks. Let's pump. I think we're good to pump here. So there's a couple things I can do. One, take a break every once in a while. Look, we're at 29 atmospheres. This is going to stay static because the pump's off. It's not going to change. This, though, is going to go down. More likely what I want to do is there's two things I could do. One, I could put a gas relief valve on this pipeline, and I could put one on every pipeline. That's a choice I might do. The other one is this. If I put enough relief valves in here, right, that is going to more quickly relieve the pressure. So notice, we're up to, what were we at? We're up to like 30 atmospheres. We're down to 2.4 atmospheres. All right, so now what we can do is we can turn the system back on. All right, so notice the coolant. So see how it's down to 0.4 atmospheres? That was at 29 atmospheres, or 20 atmospheres before I turned the button on. Guess where they went? Right there. So notice it jumped up. Now, it didn't go up to 20 because this volume, it's trying to fill this whole area with air that was just in these pipes. So the pipes were at 20 atmospheres, but this tank, if you're taking a tiny bit of air at 20 atmospheres and you're putting it in this big tank, so this shot up like a couple atmospheres. So what's likely going to be the best way to do this, I think, is I'll take a couple more relief valves, put them on this fraction tower, and then I'll put a relief valve on each of these lines. And that will, at any point, the lines will depressurize and will let the air out of the lines. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. But it's very logical. It's what would happen in real life. This is at 26 atmospheres, which is what this is at, right? So this is cycling the air at the same rate as this. Now, I could put liquid onlys on these and let air reliefs out. Could do that. But what I'll probably do is I'll make this fraction tower have more relief valves. I'll actually stop pumping for a little while. We'll fraction out what we have, and then I'll stop. So the problem is going to be, you notice the temperature is really low. The temperature is low again because the air is hard to. It's a good insulator. It's not a good conductor. It's much easier. Like if you took a pot. Like, okay, do this. Don't do this. Actually, don't do this. Take a pot. Put it on your stove. put the lid on it, and heat up the air in there, right? Pull, yeah, so the pan is blazing hot, right? Your pot is really hot on the stove. If you touch the pot, you burn yourself. But you lift the lid and you stick your hand in the pot, so you're just touching the air in the pot. It's not going to be that hot. You know, your hand's going to be fine. It's not going to be that hot. The air does not take the heat from the pan very well. But if you put water in that pan and you heated it up, right now the water's boiling, you burn yourself, right? Put oil in that pan. Same thing, you're going to burn yourself. It's a good conductor. The air is a bad conductor. So you want to get the air out of the system, or else we're not going to effectively be able to maintain temperature. As the air builds up, notice what's going to happen with the temperature. Temperature is going to go down. All right. So that's all caused by the air in there. The air is not easy. It's a good insulator. So we're essentially filling our tanks with insulator. Not good. So I just need more of these air relief valves. As you can see, I can't get this air out fast enough. So by putting relief valves in each pipe, that's going to help. And putting some more on this fractioning tower will help. So it's very logical. It's pretty basic chemistry, pretty basic physics. It works pretty well. It's not 100% the way it would be. Like the devs put in the ability to lightly compress liquids, which you really can't do. But they did that to make the game easier for people. So it's some of these things that are not 100% realistic are to try to make the game more approachable. You know, it's kind of why the wheel's so slippery, so that people don't need perfect gear ratios to just function. You know, why is this or that or this or the other thing simplified? It's so that more people can play and enjoy the game and not be frustrated, and you don't have to go get a degree in engineering to just do the most basic things, you know. Let me see, I'll read some chat here. Yep. How's it going there, Connor? What's happening? How do you go sideways with azimuth? One is at a 45, the other reverse. Yeah, I'll show you azimuths here in a second. Bring this back up. Let me see if I can find that Damon azimuth diagram. I used this before. Let me see. Shipyards. Azimuth diagram. There was a really good explanation from Damon. Damon, I like their ships, and they had, you know, they changed up how they did some of these things. Like I had the PDF for a while of it. I'm trying to find. It actually taught you how to run azimuth drives. I can show you the basics of it, but I'd like to see if they had the. Trying to see some images here if they have good diagrams here. Not really, because the thing in azimuth is compass, so it wants to show me some funky nonsense. I'll draw you up a picture here. I'll draw you up a picture. So, Daniel's asking about the azimuth, how you go sideways in it. So let me bring up a new pic here and we'll do it. Alright, so let me quickly paint this out. I can't stand the brightness of this. Alright, so if you have a ship, we'll do that as a ship's fine. Go black on that. Alright, so here's your ship. Alright, and you have two azimuth drives, alright? And we'll add a new layer. I'll make an azimuth real quick. Alright, so here's your azimuth drives. Alright, now will be the azimuth. Okay, I should have made it so big. Let's, if I make it that big, it's going to be a pain to move. Alright, so you have two azimuths. Alright, I'm just going to I'll put them under the ship, like that's fine. Alright, so here are your two azimuth drives, alright? And so what you want to do is, if you want to go sideways, let's say you want the motion to go to the side here. All right, so you want to go sideways directly 90 degrees, or 90 to the right. So what you would do is you grab your azimuth, drive here. All right, and you want to rotate this one at a 45. All right, let's see. So this is the way they do it in real life. I have to do it forward back in game, but you would essentially go like this. Try to think. I might have backwards here. Let me see. Okay, I have it backwards here, so let's I have it backwards. Okay, so let's go this no, reverse. Push that way. I'll do it the way I know it because it's once I get it conceptualized will be good. But all right, so say you want to go to the right. All right, I'm gonna just do forward back. Forward back's gonna be easier for me now than doing it the other way. So if we go ahead and we want to go forward back, so we want to go to the right. All right. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take find arrow. Okay. So this one is going to go like this. So that's backwards. So this is trying to push this corner out, right? So it's trying to swing your tail. You need to think how the tail is going to move. So the tail of the stern of the ship is going to try to go like this. It's going to try to rotate the ship. All right, so it's trying to rotate the stern over this way. All right. And so that's going to push the ship. So the ship's not going to go directly like that. What it's going to do is the ship is going to go at a diagonal like this, and it's going to rotate. And so what you want to do is you want to cancel that rotation. So this is going to try to push the ship to this side. And so what you do is with this azimuth here, you're going to push forward at a 45. And so what this is going to do is it's going to take this resultant vector and it's going to make it go sideways. So it's going to go, where, let me get an eraser. So it's going to get rid of this resultant vector. And so now you're going to actually go where you want. You're going to go sideways. All right. And so it's pushing this one, is rotating the ship. It's pulling the ship this way, but it's also rotating it. And this cancels out that rotation, and it helps to push. So this also pushes the ship. So if you think of the arrows, they're canceling each other out. So this one's trying to pull the stern to the right. This one's pushing it left because it's counteracting the turn. So the turn of the ship is this one here. If you just had this screw going, it would start to pull the ship this way and rotate it counterclockwise. This one will push the stern the other way. It'll try to push it to port, and it will try to rotate us clockwise. So this one's pushing us to starboard clockwise, and this one's pushing us to port counterclockwise. And so those two things cancel out, so the resultant vectors are going to be sideways to the right motion. If you want to go to the left, you would put this screw in reverse and this screw in forward. Now, the way they do it in real life is they do it, they don't go forward reverse, they'll go like this. So if this one's in reverse, it will rotate like, why won't you rotate, dude? Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Okay, that would be why. So the way they do it in real life with the azimuths is they do this one, they do feet. They would push it this way, so that one would they always keep them forward, which I would love it if the devs would give us 360-degree torque pivots. That would be beautiful. And so this is how you'd really do it. So the azimuth would point like this. So the thrust is going this way, right? If the thrust is going this way, right, it's pushing the stern this way. It's going to rotate your ship. Let's see. Can I go to layer 1? Nah, that's not going to do it. I wouldn't get these layers. So if we did that, what's going to happen is it's going to rotate the entire ship to port. All right? And it's going to also drag us this way. So we get dragged this way, but it's going to rotate the ship to port. This one is going to rotate the ship. I'm just trying to think. Port. That one's going to rotate. Okay, that's going to counteract the rotation, and it's going to push us sideways. So what you're doing is you're counteracting the rotation, so the ship can't rotate anymore because they're at the same angles, just in opposition, and it will slide you to the other side. And then you would flip these around to go left. And then what you do is you steer with one of them. So you'd probably, let's say you steer with your port. So if you started having a little bit of rotation, let's say you start to gently rotate to port, okay, what you would start to do is you'd start to decrease the angle on this azimuth. So you'd leave this one here, that one's fine. And let's say you're starting to accidentally rotate the ship and you don't want to, or you even want to. If you started rotating, say the bow starts turning towards port, towards the left, you would start to gently move that azimuth and it would cancel it out. And so you would just gently steer with this one. Leave that one in place on the right, steer with this one. Okay, let's say we're moving sideways and I want to rotate to starboard. All right, I go like that, and now we're rotating to starboard. This is pulling us to this side, and we've rotated this one so that it's also pushing us in a right rotation. All right, let's say I want to stop it. I'd come bring it back, cancel it out. All right, let's say that I want to rotate to port. All right, go like this, we rotate port. Let's say I want to back up, end rotate port, we go like that. All right, and so you can go like, you'd move your azimuth around like that to constantly work the motion. It takes a little bit of practice in game, but IRL you would rotate it like this, and the benefit is if you're trying to stop that propeller, you'll stall at your engine because you need, well, not stall at your engine, but you got to wait for the propeller to stop moving and then to go the opposite direction. If you do it this way, like say that you're going to hit the dock, right? You're going to hit the dock with the bow. Okay, well, you immediately rotate this one like this, and now you're backing up. So you're not going to hit the dock anymore. Okay, we're not going to hit the dock anymore. Now we're going back. Okay, we're coming close to the dock again. All right, back it up, and you just gently rotate it like this to prevent you from hitting the dock, and you can get close to the dock and slide sideways right up against the dock. So it takes some practice, but that's how you're doing with the azimuths. Because essentially your rotation, you're canceling out. You're just getting the resultant motion. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. Okay, this is good. This is maintaining temperature now. How are we looking here? How are we looking here? I want to see if this runs. Let's fix this daylight problem I'm having here. Okay. Keep going through the days here. Let's check on this, and then we'll probably take a break. All right, good. So we're up around 2,000 liters there. Not bad. That one is not running anything. So did I screw something up and not connect? No, it looked good. Okay. See if start filling jet fuel. All right, that's filling. Okay, nice. Yeah, so this makes sense. It's not perfectly 100% exactly how it'd be in real life, but it's intuitive enough that if you follow some IRL things, it makes sense. You know, a lot of people are acting as though this doesn't make sense. It does. As you pump let's say, okay, so let's say that they just came, the pipe fitters just installed these pipes, okay? Now the pipe is open on both ends, right? So what's going to happen? If the pipe is open on both ends, it has air in it. It doesn't have nothing in it, right? And then you start pumping a liquid in there, well, the air has to go somewhere. And so you need to be able to relieve the air valves. You need to be able to let the air out. And so generally you'll have these types of these air bleed-offs, and that's all we're putting in there. And you notice it's going to let the system through. We're actually, I think we're equalized. We're fully equalized now. Actually, you know what? Equalize this? Opening up the jet fuel, because this whole tank here was full of air. And so that let the air go from our system into the jet now. So it cleared, it further purged the system. Like if we go, do I have no clip on? Let's put no clip on. So like going up here and looking at these, right? So this is filling with oil a little bit because it's passively filling. But notice it's pushing air out. As the oil comes in, the air goes out. Right? This all makes perfect sense, right? We have jet fuel going in this tank over here. If jet fuel comes in, air must go out. As diesel comes in, air must go out. You know, so it's pretty simple, these concepts, if you kind of understand the basics. Oh, Jesus. But, you know, you kind of have to have a little bit of understanding. I think that's why some people get frustrated, is they just don't know these things. And because they don't know these things, again, they'll quickly blame the game. They'll say it's a game thing when it really isn't. It's a, you know, you just may not know your own physics or chemistry. You know, but that's kind of understanding this. You know, you do need pressure relief valves. If you're still getting too much gas pressure in there, you need to increase the amount of gas leaving the system, and so you need more of these ports. And so I'll probably put a couple more ports on here. I'll put a port on this line. I'll put a port on this line, and I'll put a port on that line. Now I'm thinking that should be enough. I might put out ports here. Let's see, where are we at here? No, I don't really need an out port. Yeah, that should vent the whole line here. We might put one here. I didn't notice these filters here, but this could be a problem right here. I might have to deal with those. So I'm not going to pump any more oil into this. I'm going to finish what I have here, and then I'm going to fill up these. I'll get rid of it, and then I'll fix any more issues. But yeah, read some chat. Yes, they increased it a little. Yeah, azipods. Yep. Well, they're called azipods. They are azimuth thrusters. So an azipod is the unit. Oh my God, I got an oil spill. That's the first oil spill I've ever had. Let's see where it is. Oh, beautiful. Is that caused by me? All right, I'm gonna actually save up here, and we'll get off. But that I have yet to get an oil spill. I have been looking forward to them because I want to actually do the mission. So let's save this really quick. All right, and let me read up chat, and then I'll do a sign off here. Yeah, so it's generally, you know, again, I'm no expert in this, but the my understanding is the azipod is the unit, and they are azimuth thrusters. So the azipod controls your azimuth, and so they are azimuth thrusters, and they're also known as azipods, and they're also the, you know, the names are often used interchangeably. But I love the, like, in-game, you really can't go 45s. You have to kind of stick more to, I do 22.5s for my angle. 45's too much. You know, 22.5 degrees tends to be what I do instead of 45s. So I do 22.5s. I'll quickly bring one up here and I'll show you. I need to work on that tugboat a little bit. The tugboat is not perfect, so I do need to work on that. The bigger one works a little bit better. And again, like I said, the problem is IRL, you'd be able to rotate those 360 degrees. So like if you're going to hit the dock, you spin the azimuth around, the azipod around. I can't do that in game. I have to stop it and restart it. So it causes you not to have as much control as you would IRL. How you going, Citrus? We'll see you. Yeah, so like here is, here, let me quickly show you my, I'll use the little tugboat. I don't want to bring the big, I can't bring it in here anyway, but like I'll show you with the little tugboat. Oh, God damn it. Gotta purchase this base now. Okay. So like the little azimuth, so I use this on pretty much like all my tugboats, especially now, because it's just so much, you get so much more maneuverability. And where are we at here? Right there. So like this is an azimuth tugboat here. This sucks. All right. I looked into these hatches. I'm gonna have to do some more nonsense to fix these. So I'm gonna just hard connect these for now. They screwed up my hatches with the update that essentially it oh, if I could think of how to say words, when they did the subgrids, it screwed up my. All right, so let's grab the helm and go out. All right, so say I want to go to, I want to translate left. All right, so I'm gonna bring these out to, I do about 22.5 degrees. I don't do 45s, so just pretty minor like that. If you notice like this, the game kind of overdoes it. So what I want to do is I want to come back on left and I want to go forward on right. So I'm just gonna tap them. So I'm gonna tap up W or tap down S and up at the same rate. All right, now I'm gonna steer with my port azipod. I am hitting every wrong key on my keyboard, so that's why I'm all over the place. All right, so now I'm steering with just the port azipod. All right, And so I want to maintain my heading with the port azipod. Right? Now, if I'm going backwards too fast, which I am, I'm going to start pushing up on the starboard to get more push on that side. And I'm up, all right? And so now I want to steer my bow with my port azipod. So I'm steering, I'm looking at a reference point, just steering with my port. Now I'm going to look out my side window. Am I going forward or back, or am I going straight to the side? Straight to the side. All right? So that's how you go sideways with one of these. Is I'm going to go back on my port side and forward on my starboard side. And now if I want to go a little bit, so now I'm sliding forward, so I increase the thrust on reverse. So you kind of want to split your duties. You know, the steering of the port azipod is going to control my heading, and sliding forward and back is going to be controlled by the forward and back of the azipod. So I'm going forward a little bit. You can see how I'm gently sliding forward in that mountain. So I'm going to tap my port azipod back a little bit, and that will keep me from sliding forward. And so it's just kind of a dance, you know, a little bit steering with my AD keys, and then if I'm starting to slide forward, I just tap up the S key a little bit. If I'm sliding backward, I need to decrease it. And as you can see, we can go sideways with this. All right, and then, you know, if I want to rotate, I can just steer with my port. And now we're gonna still go side. We're gonna completely see, I steered the wrong way. So the game is very, like, there's not a lot of hydrodynamic resistance in game. So, like, that's one reason I can't do 45 degrees, and why, like, if I make a small steering error, it's a big, like, it swings me really fast, is the water is not causing much resistance as it should. So now I'm going to the left, you know. Now, in real life, it'd be much easier because I could spin these 360. I can't spin them 360 in game, which kind of sucks. So, but that's kind of how you do it. This one's a little bit wild. The throttle setting is too high on this. I need to tweak this so it's less sensitive, because it's very quickly can I steer, very quickly can I go, you know, change the direction on those azipods. But I would love it if they would let us do 360 degrees. That'd be fun. Yeah, I am getting ready for a sign-off. I just want to finish that. So. All right, let's bring up all the old members here. Yeah, but that's I really love the azimuths. It just gives you so much maneuverability, and it's something neat and cool to learn. It's like a regular standard steering system is pretty boring to me. You know, the azimuth takes some skill, it takes some practice to get good at. All right, thank you, Sign Out and Connor Boyle, Danny, Sergeant Chaos, Aaron Pearsall, Citrus, and FS Gamer for being members. Thank you, Check the Store, for being a patron. If you guys are interested in any of that, it is down in the description. Wow, it's down in the description below. If you're interested in any merch, that is also down there and on the Discord for the Christmas season. Thank you guys for watching. If you yet to subscribe, please consider that. I appreciate it if all you guys would like the video. That helps other people find it, and I'll see you in the next one.